I don't know if eventually you'll have like the result for the survey that you have, but when you have it, I'll be interesting to hear
Yeah, no, of
outcome.
course. Yeah. We're uploading all of these videos on a YouTube channel all together.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, you're going to be one of the 100 interviews. So, I mean, I have done two
Okay.
so far, but yeah, like this is the third one. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining this. Okay, so do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Okay, so my name is Augusto Lassen. I'm originally from Brazil. In Brazil, I did my undergraduate. Then after that, also in Brazil, I did my master's and a PhD. Uh, I was in astronomy. And then I did 6 months as a visiting PhD student in Stockholm. And after that, I moved to INAF to do my postdoc. I started in September 2024. Been a year and a half as postdoc now.
So, this is your first postdoc.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
right. So very young, very very young astronomer. We are the presence of a very young astronomer. Okay, this is great because you're exactly like fitting into this scope. Okay, I'm very happy that we're having you. Okay, so let's start with the questions, I believe. So, how did you become an astronomer slash astrophysicist? Because
Mhm.
we're having some conflict about like, how to categorize you. Like you're doing
Mhm.
mix of the two. So yeah, like
Yeah.
the boundaries are blurry. So how do you,
Yeah.
yeah, like was there a defining moment for you to step into this type of career, or was there like a childhood memory? Was there a book? Was there an inspiring moment, book, or mentor for you? How did it
Mhm.
happen?
Yeah, I think partially like astronomy is always present. I think in our childhood, I think everyone at some point get amazed and seeing the galaxies and seeing the stars. But I think like the turning point for me was when I was finishing my elementary school. I
Right,
had like to decide what would I do. I was
right,
very uncertain on what I would do. So for instance, I applied for literature in another
right.
university. I applied for journalism in another university.
Wow.
And then we had this program in the university that I ended up doing my undergraduate, my master, and my PhD, which is called Open Doors. So basically, you went to the university, and
Right,
like I had like a several people presenting like a what each course was, what you do in this, and
right,
I didn't even know what astrophysics was. But then I saw this person there, and he was talking. He was talking about several things, like about how the galaxy clusters can bend the light, and how this can be used to lens
oh wow.
other astronomical
It was
objects.
like the micro lensing effect. You were
Exactly,
exposed
and
to something
yeah,
very extreme
exactly.
for the
But
first
he
time.
was super excited, and I
Okay,
always liked physics in
right.
elementary school, and then that was a think like, wow, I could do this. It seems very interesting. And
Oh wow.
I joined at the undergraduation. I still was a little bit uncertain on what I would do for research because
Right,
at the end of my undergraduation, I did a bit of nanotechnology,
right,
complete opposite scale. And
right.
in the masters, I decided, no, I think this is what I want to do. I think it's very nice to not only doing the science, which I like a lot, but
Right.
having nice pictures to show to the other people is always fascinating.
So you had a very non-linear trajectory. So it was like I don't know, like it was like journalism, then it was a little bit about like nanotechnology, and then like so it was like more leaning towards physics at the beginning, but then there was a shift in the middle. So like how did
Yeah,
that shift happen? So for your master's or your PhD, you just said that okay, this is going to be astrophysics because I'm interested in the field, or was it like because you had a lot of uncertainty as well? So,
mhm,
what really locked you in with astronomy? Like, what was the moment that you
mhm,
said that, okay, this is my career and I want to become an astronomer,
mhm,
or at least I want to experience it for a little
yeah.
bit?
For me, that was also a very difficult choice to make because
Right,
not because I like many topics from
right,
physics,
sure.
but then I think like among everything that I saw from in the physics in the undergraduate, I think astronomy was what interested me the most. I think was Actually, I think it's also a bit dependent on the department that I was on, because it's a department that has the majority of the physicists there are
Mhm.
astronomers. So I
True.
knew I was a friend from some professor. So I think all of these things end up driving me to this direction, and not from nanotechnology or other field of physics. So yeah, I think the
Right.
primary driver was my interesting to learn more about astrophysics, I think.
And what did you start with? So, what was the first project that you started, or like what was the course that you took? And it was like, okay, like I have made this decision that I'm going to become an astronomer. Or like, were you like forced into it? Because, like, I mean, this was your only option, or like, was it like, no, like this is the thing that I really like and I want to get involved in it, and it just grew into something else? How did
Mhm.
it happen?
I mean, when I shifted to the masters to really start researching astronomy.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Was
yeah.
that your choice? Yeah, like, or like, how does it work? Because I mean, country to country, things are very different too. Like, for example, in my country, we cannot be choosing astrophysics, astronomy the way that it works here in Italy or
Hmm.
like Europe in general, because we don't have that many departments that can be
Hmm.
like can invest in this field even. So you don't have that choice. But then I assume like from like where you're coming from, like this is a established field, so you can be choosing this. But I think it's also,
Hmm.
as you said, it's a very difficult choice to choose this because it comes with a lot of uncertainty. You don't know, you don't have that level of job security as well. You have to
Okay.
do a lot of traveling. But then I think at the beginning of the journey, like we don't know much about that. We don't know a lot
Hmm.
of these like hardships that we have to go through like later in life. But
Hmm.
yeah, like, I mean, so for you, like the way it started was that you were interested in galaxies, and then you were like, okay, so this is my career. Like, I want to give it a try for my master's, and then it grew into a PhD, and now
Hmm.
you're continuing with that.
That's a good point, because I think the first part that you mentioned, like in Brazil, it's not very common, of course, but like there are only a few universities in
Oh,
Brazil that
wow.
actually have a department. They have department of physics, but it's very difficult to find like a department of astrophysics that does research. I think I was fortunate to be in one of the universities in Brazil that has one of the strongest and biggest departments
Right.
of astrophysics. So that helped a lot. Yes. Um,
This is surprising because I know so many Brazilian astronomers and astrophysicists. So I thought like this is like very established, but no, apparently it's not a given.
and like in absolute numbers, I think that there are a lot, but the Brazil population is huge. Like
True.
most people
Right.
that end up going to the university, they they don't have access like to research departments. If you're going
Oh,
like for
wow.
a private school or something, usually it's like focusing only on the teaching. You don't have like departments that do research, only lectures.
Right.
Um, Even among like, the federal universities, sometimes if they have a department of astronomy, it's like a very small department that's very limited, the number of professors that can actually advise you. So yeah, I was in a very good place to be
Right.
advised by an astronomer. But yeah,
Right.
I think yeah, in relative terms, it's not that much.
So I have a question for you. So were you lucky to get into astronomy, like from your personal point of view? Do you think you were lucky to get into this discipline, or you think you were really good, like you had the qualifications to
Yeah, no,
start this career?
yeah,
Because I think
no,
like you
that's
have to study a lot. You have to be a studious and then
this
like
is
pass a
true
certain
also.
threshold, right?
This is true also, because also to join these public universities in Brazil, there is like an exam that you have to pass. So yeah, there are a lot of
Right.
things I dedicated to go to that. But I don't know. I think like if I was the primary thing that made me join that university in particular was because it was closer to my hometown, and that there
Right.
are several public universities across Brazil. Maybe if I went to a different public university, could end up in a university that doesn't have like a such a big department, or it's more influence in another field of physics. I could end up in a completely different field of physics. So yeah, I think it's it's a balance between both my dedication to join university and keep going, but also the place that I was is a special place.
So let's say when you started your career in astronomy, what was the very first beautiful thing that you saw and it really like clicked with you? That like you really like astronomy and this is something to invest on. Because it's
Mhm.
not a given, like you have to go through a lot of hardships to like make this your career. And then like when we're
Mhm.
like talking, so I have done like few of these interviews and the thing that people usually touch on like the issue is that like you really have to like this, you really have to be passionate about this because it's so
Mhm.
much hassle, so you don't want to
That's
do
true.
it in ordinary conditions unless
Mhm.
like you really see something that makes you attached and hooked on the plot.
Mhm.
And then that is like how you stay. So for you, what was this amazing moment that you had like during your master's or PhD that kept you in the field instead of quitting?
Mhm. Oh, I think like I could cite maybe two moments because I think there are some moments where I see things or I learn about things that I think like wow, this is really amazing to be doing
Right.
that. And I think there is also like this continuous thing like that I keep reminding myself like yeah,
Yeah, right.
this is
You
what I
have to
like.
have the motivation somewhere to like go back to in
Exactly.
the difficult moments and then say that, okay, but it's worth it. Like I want to do this. And then there are two
Exactly.
types of joys, right? Like there's like a personal joy that you're having
Mhm.
in astronomy, which is about your own discoveries and how you connect to the field. There's also another joy that is like external, like other people are like bringing that to your life. Like you just
Yeah.
review a paper and you said, okay, this is beautiful research, or like, yeah, I'm just so happy that I'm educated enough that I can read
Mhm.
this article and understand like how it works. So
Exactly.
for you, like how did it work?
I think I think one moment that I think it keeps like crystallized in my memory. I think it was like in my first semester in undergraduate. We had this discipline which is a mandatory only for people doing astronomy, but
All right.
like a lot of people were doing this discipline from all different fields, and it was basically about very basic astronomy, basic
Right.
concepts. And one of the last classes, it was like a hands-on activity. And
Okay.
so in this hands-on activity, we had a telescope. It was not a super big telescope, but it was
Right.
very good. You could see the planets. And I remember I went there that night to see the planets. Uh, First of all, that per se was fascinating to me. Like that was the first time I saw the planets and
Right.
seeing the rings of Jupiter.
Right.
I think one thing that really stuck in my mind was that in the night that I went to do the observation, there was a senior person. I think he was like a 70 years old or something like that, and he was, I think, agronomy. He was doing something completely different. And in the moment that he saw Jupiter and he saw the rings of Jupiter, he started to cry. And he said, like,
Oh.
to us something like, "This is the most beautiful thing I have ever
Yeah,
seen."
so emotionally
That was very
overwhelming, right?
crystallizing.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that moment I thought like, okay, this what we're doing is something special to people. I think so. I think
Right.
this is a moment that I think I keep in my mind, and I think like on this think of a continuous motivation. I think I like to think that one of the biggest questions that like philosophical questions that I have in my life, like how all of this began, like why are we here and what are we doing? What is the meaning of our
Right.
life? And I think like
Right.
perhaps astronomy is one of the the best ways trying to answer this, even though it's like a almost impossible question to answer. I think perhaps what we're doing is the best way to pursue this answer.
Right. There are like several questions that I have. So like, I mean, firstly, like, thank you so much for bringing this up because it just emphasizes that how public outreach is important, like
Yes.
especially when we're young. And then like
Yes.
again, like when we're old. So like, I mean,
Yeah.
different people connect to it in very different levels. And it's interesting equally at all ages. And then I think like we should all be like doing more because part of it is that like we're privileged to have this opportunity to study this, but it's also very important to be giving, let's say, like at different stages of our career. So I feel like you having a career as an astrophysicist, astronomer, just brings this to
Sorry,
life.
I was frozen.
Yeah, no, no worries. Yeah, like I was just like blabbing about the importance of
No,
public
but this is
outreach. Yeah,
true.
like, nothing important. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, having someone like choosing astronomy as their career through public outreach and then like having a very fond and deep and profound memory about one of these sessions is just something that might be like also motivating for people out there who are doing like science communication. I think this is one of the most important parts of all of our careers, like people who are doing these activities. Um, yeah, like and the okay, so I think like instead of like remaining with this, like I will just move to the next question because I think like you nicely like laid out the space for like entering
Okay,
the
thanks.
next like, second question. So how does it feel to be an astronomer these days?
I think
On a,
it's
on a normal day, like not the day that you're like very stressed out or like I mean there's like
yeah,
mood or like I mean like existential crisis or like a stuff like that. But then yeah,
yeah,
like,
same.
in a very normal day, like how do you feel about being an astronomer?
I think it's nice. Like I think every day, like even the regular days, I think they're challenging in the sense that I never have like a repeated things to do. I have always a new thing to do. I have always a new thing to solve.
Right.
Sometimes problems that were remained from the previous day or previous week, but it's every day. I think it's different. Every day I have a or to prepare a presentation or to write some section of a paper. So every day is different, and I like it. To be honest, I like. I don't
I think
like
the blessing
a
of this
routine.
job
Routine.
and how different it is from a 9 to 5 type of like boring job because you always have something to look forward to when you're waking up.
Exactly.
Like your day
Mhm.
is like, yeah, it never starts like the previous day. So it's a great career because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, but for me, I like this feeling. Every day I have a puzzle to solve, let's say, or something to learn more and keep learning things.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is like one of the like biggest thing about astronomy because it's just infinite, right? Like whatever that you come to know, there's a puzzle to solve still. Like you go towards like you're facing a problem then you figure out that oh I can solve like parts of it but then there are like so many other things so many other questions that are generated through answering like one question so it just like goes
Exactly.
on and on like there is no ending to it there's always something fresh and nice to like start exploring this is why like
Exactly.
career never actually wraps up and then like we
Mhm.
have this trend of like even retired people never retiring actually because they have so
Exactly.
much work to do. So it's a lifelong journey and there's like a lot of joy in
Exactly.
it.
Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, like when you think
Right.
like, wow,
Because it's a lot
there's
of
so
work.
much things that I don't know.
Oh, yeah, right. But yeah, I think like this is like what keeps and drives people forward because there's always something to look forward to. And it's not an
Exactly.
boy, like it never gets repetitive. So you never have this
Exactly.
type oh yeah, like I'm having an everyday type of job. It's always
Yeah.
exciting. There's something exciting happening at a corner, either for you, like or for someone else. So it's inspiring you to do more as well. Like this is like what
Exactly.
happens.
Good point.
So okay, so last question. How do you envision your future self in astronomy, in this field, in this community? Like, I mean, not like how you're planning for this and then how much you're putting the effort to become like
Mhm.
like established like astronomer, but how do you see yourself in the
Mhm. Yeah. So I think like currently, I think what I'm trying to do is to keep gaining knowledge. I think like I see the final end is for me to cannot escape from teaching and advising new astronomers. I think like it's a personal feeling. I think like if everything that I learn and everything that I keep learning and discovering, if I don't share this with other people, it can become pointless if you just keep this all this knowledge like a very restrict to a small number of people. But I think like in my future, I would like to gain knowledge enough to being able to teaching other people and advising other people, like spread a bit this community in astronomy, I think. And for that, I need to keep gaining knowledge because it's a big responsibility, being responsible for someone else's career, right?
So it's very interesting because we were just having another interview, and then the interview was like, okay, for this question, I think you will always get the same response because people will be like, okay, I want a permanent staff sort of thing.
Yeah.
I want to like teach,
Mhm.
something like that. But then I just like said it in the other interview, and I think like, for example, like one of the things that I'm always escaping from is teaching. Like I have like
Mhm.
literally no interest in that. Like I want to be like
Mhm.
hardcore researcher.
Mhm.
Advising students, like if it happens, okay, if it doesn't happen, still, like I don't have like feelings for it.
Mhm.
It's a very nice insight that you're seeing
Mhm.
yourself more as a teacher. Like you didn't even like
Yeah.
consciously, like you didn't even say like research. You said that, oh yeah, like I'm gaining knowledge to share it with others because like that is my
Yeah.
responsibility. Like that,
Oh, like certainly, I have like like a personal goal and keep advancing in my research. But I like a lot to see like
there's a
other
passion.
people.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think I like to see like other people like progressing in their careers, and
right,
I would feel like a really well inside. I think being able to help, helping
right.
other people to progress in their careers. I think that that would be very nice for me. I think.
No, yeah, right. I mean, this is like a bad analogy, but then like this is like something that is like very dominant among women, for example. Like some of them see themselves as mothers, like from very early stages of life. And then like
Mhm.
some women like me, like they never see that. They don't
Yeah.
like kids, they never want to become mothers or like, I don't know, like have a family life or something like that.
Mm,
I think teaching is also one of these things. Like you always have a vision for it. If you're a good teacher,
mm,
you want to be teaching people and then like protecting other people's careers and then also advancing them and then like be part of their growth. I think that
mm,
also needs and requires a certain type of vision. So I think like that's not a given, really. So
mm.
yeah. So maybe like in the future, yeah, like, we will see you like as as like a prof. So like that is like where you're like going.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, like that's something very nice to know. Yeah, like from the very beginning. I don't think like not everyone has this type of vision. So yeah, okay. Any final comments or feedback or like something that you want to add? You think we have missed something?
Oh, I think I was very nice. It was very nice your invitation. I think it's a very nice thing to do, and I'm curious to hear what the other 99 people say.
Right. No,
Honestly, interested.
yeah, like I mean, one of the great things that we see is that how everyone is so unique, especially their career path. Everyone is different from everybody else. And mostly what you see is that astronomy was never the first choice of people. People had to like take this path and then like go
Mm,
here and there, and then like astronomy just comes their way, kind of, which is
mm,
like something very nice to see, like how everyone's career was shaped and then what is
exactly.
and what's keeping them in this. So, yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Fatima.
Have a nice day. Bye.
You
Ciao.
too. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.